Jerome Niedorf, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Last week, you introduced a program, a free workshop called Six Steps Home. What is Six Steps Home?
Okay, Six Steps Home is a workshop for someone that wants to buy a home to get them on the right track to do it in the right order. I say buying a home should be fun, providing you do it in the right order. And following these 6 steps, which we cover in the workshop, and we're going to cover one today, make sure that they head in the correct direction.
The workshops are weekly and they are free after we go through one of the areas that are part of your discussion at the workshop. When is the next one, and how do people register for it?
Okay, the next one is coming up the first Wednesday. They're all on Wednesday evening. The next one we have openings in is the first Wednesday of February, which I think is February the 5th, and they start at 6:30. They run about an hour and a half, and very educational. They can register by calling 992-8091, and we'll get them in the workshop.
Excellent. Okay. You're not just talking philosophical things that need to be known in order to qualify and buy a home. You're actually getting down into specifics with credit scores and qualification. But for illustrative purposes, let's go through part of lesson number 1 of qualifying for a home. But the end result is how much home can, or how much of a mortgage can you qualify for. So let's start at the top.
Okay.
Okay.
Within the 6 steps, and we cover all 6 steps in the hour and a half. But step number 1 is where they sit down and they talk to the loan officer, and this is actually the book. And what we cover in the first step when they sit down with me is I cover through what pre-qualification is, which we'll walk them through today. But we also talk about employment and income and how much down payment do they have to work with. We discuss credit probably about half the time at the initial meeting, because we're not doing a loan application. All we're doing is talking to them to give them the dollar figure. We talk about credit. We talk about what's countable cash, loan programs, what's FHA, what's conventional, what's VA, what's jumbo. We talk about that, plus we cover a good faith estimate. So in the first step, the one-on-one, we cover a lot of information, because they're here to gather information to get them headed in the right direction. So when they go on to step 2, which is to sit down and for the first time and talk to a realtor, they know the direction they're going.
And I think it's important now, because they become more educated when they talk to that realtor, or step 3, 4, 5, and 6, so that they are more in control rather than somebody else in control.
That is correct. They know what's going on.
Okay, so let's give an example, because let's talk about income, and starting off with a couple, a dual income household. So let's say, for instance, that my income is $5,000 and my wife's income is $3,000 a month income. So that adds up to $8,000 a month between the two of us.
Right.
And the point we want to get to is how much of a mortgage can we afford. So you take it from here, and let's take them right through the steps.
Okay. And on the worksheet, and they can see this on the screen now, I think, on the worksheet we talk about the fact that housing should be around 30% of their gross monthly. Their total obligations, including their new house payment, should be around 40%. So if you've got $8,000 a month in income, 30% it gives you $2,400 that you can have for a house payment. 40%, which is $3,200, is going to be your new house payment plus whatever your current debt is.
Okay, and what do you define debt?
Debt is anything that you have payments on, and typically what we do is we start with the car payments, and then I list toys, and toys are your motorcycles and your jet skis and your boat and all the other finer things in life that people seem to have today. And then you get into the normal credit cards, and you get into child support. All these items added together is the debt that will make up the other portion.
Okay, so for illustrative purposes here too, then let's say, for instance, that the cars and the toys and the credit cards, and you add those payments up, that adds up to, let's say, $900.
Correct.
So that's where we're at now. So where does that put us?
Okay, what we do now then is we take the total debt number in our example, which is $3,200, and we subtract the $900, which is the debt, which leaves us $2,300 left over for a house payment.
Okay.
Now, under the regular qualifying, they qualify for a $2,400 house payment, but because of where their debt at is, we need to reduce it down to the $2,300.
Okay, so we've got the $2,300, but people sometimes forget or are not informed by the people trying to sell them the house or whatever. But there are other costs too, such as your homeowners associations, your mortgage insurance, and taxes like that. Is
Correct.
That correct? Okay, but that needs to be taken into account.
Correct. So now what we do is we take the $2,300 house payment and we back out the taxes, the insurance, the homeowners association, mortgage insurance, and what that will leave us is a principal and interest. The example we've put together, we're going to use just an arbitrary number of $350 for these items. So you take the $350 away from, because it's going to be included in the payment, away from the $2,300. So now we can have a principal and interest of $1,950.
Okay.
This is where we can now calculate how much house or how much mortgage that will pay. The $1,950 principal and interest will support a $315,000 mortgage. That's how much mortgage they can afford. So if they're going to buy a $350,000 house, they need to put the $35,000 down. If they're going to do 100% financing, they're going to be dealing with the $315,000. And if they're going to do 5% down or whatever their credit score and their financial situation, this is where we've got to keep them within. Now we've got a $315,000. Let's say, for an example, they're going to put $10,000 down. They then can go to the realtor and say, hey, I can afford a $325,000 house. What's available? Which is what we're going to be talking about next week.
Excellent. So subliminally, what you're saying is that they are going in a lot more prepared, having come through your workshop, rather than somebody just making up figures. They'll be able to take that paper and pencil and figure out where you are.
Yeah, but not only that, they'll come to the workshop to see what the flow is, but then when they actually sit down with me to go through the thing, I mean, the initial meeting, we don't do loan application.
No.
We talk about what their financial situation is, what their income, how much money they want to work with, how much payment they're comfortable with. This will typically take 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And they leave with a lot of information. Haven't done anything for a loan application. A lot of information so they can go start making some decent business decisions.
Excellent. Okay, the next 6 Steps Home workshop, I need telephone numbers, and if you want to include your own cell number,
Okay.
go for it.
If they want to contact me direct, my cell phone number is 595-4118. They need to register for the workshop. They can either call me, or the workshop number is 992-8091.
And we're going to be running a whole bunch of their commercials throughout the show until we sell more advertising on it. Okay?
Oh, I hope you don't sell more advertising. I like the exposure.
Yeah, thank you. Jerome Niedorf, give him a call, 595-4118, or the other 6 Steps Home number. And I'm going to have you back on because Frank gave you a couple of properties that he thinks are very saleable.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
See you in a little while. Okay.